Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today I'm going to be making the Honeyduke sweet shop from Harry Potter. Now before we get started on how I bought part of a set and what I'm going to do with it, I thought I'd go through some amendments from last time to our super secret police Riot van. I've had quite a few wonderful suggestions from you, and I've incorporated quite a few of them. So let's get the bedoring buzzer. Now, one that you might see straight away is the addition of these wonderful kind of spikes or teeth on the front. And it kind of acts like a very aggressive bull bar and just makes the whole thing look a bit more silly, really, which is kind of the point that some people didn't get in the comment section, but nonetheless, yeah, so I think that makes it look really aggressive and a bit over the top, which is the entire point of the SSP. So thanks very much for that suggestion. I like it a lot. One that's not getting a bedoing was about the visor on the guy on the inside being upside down. Yeah, I have corrected it, but that's not bedoing worthy. I did think bedoing worthy was the idea of adding another sticker saying 409. Much like on the sides to the roof. So when we've got a helicopter that's directing action from above, it can refer to the specific unit that it wants to direct. So I think that's a really good idea. And I just used one of the 409s from my other sheet that I very carefully measured out and cut out in a square so it could go on a white tile, so it had the white border. I thought that'd be better than applying it to a black tile. Because it wasn't designed for this, it's a bit lower near the bottom than it would be otherwise, but that was unavoidable. But I still think it works really well and just adds another detail to a great rebuild. And then, so I better give that a bedoing. Then other people suggested I didn't have quite enough stickers on, so at least there's a holding pattern for the other ones that I did have that I might want to use elsewhere, or just buy more, of course. So I added some more to the back to 2x2 tiles rather than the 2x4 that was there. So now every flat surface does have something on it. So yeah, thanks for that encouragement. And then I got one message. Well, that's not pressed down fully, is it? I got one message that I was triggering certain people by leaving gaps near the tops of my wheel arches. So I've basically pulled apart the whole thing to use the technique I used on my red bus, just to fill in that very small triangular area there. And essentially you just use a horizontal clip upside down on one of those round 1x1 pieces with the kind of stick on it. If that doesn't make sense, you probably want to check back on that bus video, or maybe it's the one afterwards when I did similar amendments, I'm not sure. But I'll give that one a bedoing because it has improved it. Now, I won't be taking any of the amendments about guns and what to have hanging out the turret and all the rest of it yet, just because I'll be doing that in due course. But all of those have made this a lot more aggressive and a lot more fun as well. One that I didn't do was adding another one of these bars kind of over the windscreen to represent sort of riot protection. I think that's kind of good. It'd be a bit better if it was longer. I could add two, of course, but then it kind of hangs off. But I kind of thought that interrupted our view into the cabin and of the sort of scared face guy. So I'm going to go without that one. We've already got quite a lot of stuff bolted on the front as it is. So yeah, thanks very much again for all of those, and we'll be seeing this in Brick Nottingham very soon. Cool. On to today's build. Now, the most highly anticipated thing for quite a while to put in my city is this. As soon as it was announced, the Hogsmeade Village Visit Set 76388, I've been very keen to get my hands on, well, just this element of it really, the Honeydukes sweet shop, because this double-breasted old-style windowed sort of little shop is very reminiscent of the UK, as you'd expect with it being a Harry Potter set, and I think will fit very well in amongst my, well, either Old Town or anywhere really in my city. And it even is quite reminiscent of real life really, because I remember as a kid going to shops like this and being dazzled by all the different bottles and sweets available and pretty much going for one of every single one. Yes, I was one of those people. Probably a nightmare for the people who owned it. But I wasn't really that keen on the other elements of the set really. The other main build is the 3 Broomsticks Pub. And I've already got 2 pubs, being the Crown Inn and the Krusty Krab, and I've also got a bar on top of the station and maybe more coming. So I didn't really need that, and it was a bit too sort of countryside and a bit twee for me, so I didn't really want that. And because all the minifigures in this range are skin toned and not particularly city friendly as much as I'd like, I wasn't that crazy about getting them either. And this is where eBay is absolutely fantastic. And more specifically, the minifigure collectors, God bless them, because basically there's loads of people who only want the minifigures. So buy all these sets, strip out the minifigures for their collection, and then sell what is to them the useless builds. And therefore, for somebody like me who only wants the build, doesn't really need the minifigures, and wants to save themselves quite a bit of money, going along to eBay and buying just the building they want is an absolute godsend. So that's what I've done. I've got the 3 bags that make up this build, 1, 2 and 3. They've already been opened and somebody just pulled out the relevant bits for, well, these minifigures here, Mr. and Mrs. Flume and Harry Potter. And I assume that's the same Mr. and Mrs. Flume who invented the log-based fairground ride that's all around the world. Anyway, I don't really need them. I can use one of my own minifigures to run this shop, although I do quite like her little sort of cardigan and sort of a bit of a sort of dirty apron there. That's really good. And check out that little printed piece there for acid pops, does that say? Yeah, that looks absolutely great. So you can see why I wanted it. All the colour, all the shape, I can really use that in my city. Now, the only thing I don't like apart from that, while we're here and looking at this picture, is the snow. So I'm not going to build snow on the floor. I'm not going to build snow on the roof. I'll build it straight onto a normal plate of dark bluish grey or something like that, because the inside's tiled anyway. And that's probably the only amendment I'll do today. I mean, I might make it bigger in due course, but not so sure about that. And speaking of which, there are my wonderful colourful stickers with all of the little bottles of sweets on and so and so. I had actually thought that those window pieces would be printed, I must say, but they're actually stickered. So I have to be very careful putting those on. And I thought they'd be printed, much like in the Diagon Alley set, to be honest, where the Flourish and Blots bookshop has got the green 1x6x5 panels done in a very similar way. And indeed, the Quality Quidditch Supplies shop's got a similar thing going on with red. But yeah, this will really fit in with all of those very well. I don't mind the fact that it's got a sort of peaked roof on it. But yeah, as long as I can successfully get rid of the snow. Right, so I think we should make a start. But thanks very much to the vendor of this for your very expensive minifigure collection. Because actually another point worth mentioning is, you know, this set came with about 7 minifigures and was £70 in total, which basically makes it about 8p a piece, which is quite expensive, but, you know, that's what you have to pay for a licensed set. But by the time somebody's stripped out all of the minifigures, the cost for this build actually reduces to below 4p a piece, which makes it really, really quite cheap. So, yeah, it really is great value. I definitely urge you to go and check out eBay for the builds of licensed sets, as long as you don't mind missing the minifigures. Right, so I'm going to get started with bag 1. I'm sure you probably don't want to watch me build every single piece, so I'll stop every time I've got something to share. Well, I've only done 1 bag, but I'm already thinking this is a fantastic build. I really like it, and I was right to be anticipating its arrival. These details in all the windows are absolutely great. This iridescent pink thing is really amazing. I don't think I've ever had anything in that colour before. I guess that's some sort of candy floss or something like that. It's kind of in the shape of a balloon, really. The nice pink Honeydukes sign, loads of little jars on this one, including a chocolate fountain, I think. And then the inside gets even brighter and better with loads of details of sweets and treats and all sorts of things, lollipops, and the stickers make it even more deep. And the highlight, obviously, is that Acid Pops printed, well, minifigure headpiece, really, with Acid Pops on one side and printing on the back. And it's got one of these new frosted 1x1 round tiles as well, so it really looks very appropriate indeed. And you get more than one, So that's absolutely great. And I may have to add to all of these treats and confectionaries with my own little micro builds, I suppose. Could really make it packed and stacked the way I like it. And it makes me think about positioning of this thing, because if the inside is so great, and although the very pretty ornate windows show off some of it from the front, I think it might be beneficial to see in the back as well. So I was thinking this would go near all my Diagon Alley sets from 75978. But now I'm thinking maybe this needs to go in a place where it can be open backed and we can look at it, like around the edge of the second standing hole. I don't really know. I mean, I think it will fit next to the Diagon Alley sets very well because of its sort of architecture, even though I know this isn't originally part of the Diagon Alley, well, the clue's in the name, isn't it? Hogsmeade Village Visit. I imagine it's part of Hogsmeade Village. Because I don't really know much about Harry Potter at all, having not watched the films or read the books even. But what I do know is that it's a story about an orphan boy who goes on an adventure after his uncle and aunt are killed by evil forces. He rescues a princess with the help of an old man and a smuggler, and finds the secret plans of a Slytherin base, which show a really secret hidden weakness. So, flying broomsticks, Harry and his friends destroy the Slytherin base with their magic wands and restore balance to the galaxy of wizardry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. That's how it goes, I think. If not, comments in the comments section. And then everyone gets medals at the end. And all this happens a long, long time ago, somewhere far, far away. Yeah, I'm pretty certain I've got that right. So anyway, enough wittering. On to bag 2. Oh, getting all the signage on and the windows in. Don't they look fantastic? I did slightly mess up this sticker in that it's slightly lower on the left-hand side than the right, but I figure that all of those shops are very old indeed, and you should see them in real life. Sometimes the entire window frame's about 2 inches higher on one side than the other, so I don't think that's necessarily a huge problem. But I love this pink signage, Honeydukes on each side as well. Looks really fantastic. And we've even got a branded box for the roof, or the attic space, or just the upstairs. So I might have that outside in a scene. I don't really know. Maybe a delivery is coming in. But yeah, that's very nice. And it's one of these boxes rather than a brick. One of these ones you can actually put something in. We've actually started our build upstairs, which seems to have 2 fireplaces. That's a bit curious. I don't know why you'd ever have 2 fireplaces in one room. And we've even got this sort of attic space that seems to have some suites in it. So I don't know how you'd get at those or why they're there, but nonetheless, another little detail. But yeah, those windows look absolutely great from the other side as well. So really looking forward to finishing this. Now, I have removed, as you might have noticed, or not added in the first place, the icicles that would make up all of the sides as part of the snowy sort of aspect of this set. I don't know if it's always snowing in Harry Potter land, but I don't want it snowing on just one building in my city. It wouldn't make much sense. And indeed, the snow is sort of heaped up on the official build, kind of like that, on the tops of these 2 rounded windows. So I'm going to have to remove all of these white pieces and put them to one side, replace them with grey slopes and other grey pieces here. And I've just got the same pieces in dark bluish grey to kind of extend the colour of the roof down over these sections here. Now, it might be in due course I decide to do them in green, but I don't have those pieces in green, so it's grey or nothing at the moment, and I think it probably will work with grey when we've sort of got the roof sort of blending into that area, because it would be kind of like a tarred sort of flat piece of roof there rather than a green painted area. So I think that's probably more correct. Yeah, so I kind of like that. Tell me what you think, but otherwise I'll plough on with the roof, and we've got rid of all of the snow successfully. And here is the build completed, or at least completed the way I'm going to do it, with all the roof on and these very tall chimneys that I can barely show you. There we go, 2 chimney pots. And I've managed to successfully remove all of the snow. That I've got loads and loads of snow pieces over here. And they have to have a slightly raised level, otherwise it won't work. But I've changed that to dark bluish grey and kind of replicated a small section of snow in a way, but just more straight edge, so it looks like it's a roof feature. So all you need for that is 2 of the quarter tiles, 2 of 1x3 plates, and 2 of these wedge plates to make that change. It's very easy indeed. And I think although we've got quite a large section of grey now in this roof, it doesn't really matter, and it does make a lot more sense than having snow on one building in my city. And it is instantly recognisable in my mind as a sweet shop, just with those bright colours and the things that you can glimpse through the windows. So I really, really like that. And we finished the back with the double fireplace top floor with the pan cooking some goodies, no wonder, and the completed sort of loft area. So yeah, I really like it. Wonderful amount of colours. And we can add to that the old-fashioned cash register there with a wonderful build using a bowl piece for the bowl of a scale. And we've got another Honeyduke sticker there, which makes the back even more attractive. And then we've got one of these, whatever this is, with what looks almost like a vampire there. It's like he's surrounded by bats. And a skeleton with a bowler hat, or some sort of hat anyway, there. I don't really know what this is supposed to be. The instructions have it being put in here, so it's obviously some sort of sale display type thing. Maybe you could tell me what that is in the comments. But yeah, I really, really like this build. I was really glad I was able to get it without any of the other stuff. And I just think it's just instantly recognisable, as I say, which really made it attractive to me in the first place. So I haven't built the wanted sign and the lamppost either. I might use those for something in future. And I've noticed this 1x3x3 window piece, which is rather fantastic in dark brown. This could be a really good train window if I used it as the basis of my train carriages that I'm going to have behind the new black steam train, which actually we did decide on a name of, the Flying Knotsman. Thanks for your vote if you voted for that. It edged out quite significantly, actually, edging out of my name of the Flying Outlaw. But I really do like Flying Knotsman. It's a good pun on the Flying Scotsman, and Notts is the county where we live, so that really makes a lot of sense. So anyway, that is interesting to see. Now all we need is a proprietor instead of Mr. and Mrs. Flume. So I thought I could make use of another hideous video character. And I know this guy is based on ice cream, and that his head's made of it, and it's all sort of melting down. But that would be far too scary for the children to buy sweets from. So if we get rid of his head by decapitating him and make him a friendly old man instead, with the bow tie and so on, I think that would be quite a fun outfit for somebody who's running a sweet shop. We've got the frosting, the different coloured hands, these sort of cone legs, but it's all sort of chocolate based and so on. So I think that still works for sweets. So I might have him sort of opening the door and beckoning in potential customers. And then all we really need to do is to put this in the city as a wonderful Harry Potter set. Now, because I don't think we've got enough space in the old town for this shop, and because I thought I'd really want to see in the back of it, I thought this might be the best place for it on the edge of the second standing hall. So we do have a space here next to the GBC factory, but it might work rather well here, I don't know. But we can see inside, so it's a good place for it as we stand. And indeed, having a sweet shop right next to an arcade where we might have loads of kids spending their pocket money already might be a really good idea. Now, the building style and architecture of this is very different from its neighbours, so I'm not sure if it works on that basis. You'll have to tell me what you think. There's also the potential to make this a lot deeper, or at least 2 studs deeper, which will sort of push the front of the building forward a bit, so it's sort of got a bit nearer the curbside. I mean, you could do it even 4 studs or something like that and make the insides much more, complete, a bit more space in there as well if you've got all that. So I could do that another time. There's no chance of me being able to do that today because I just don't have any of the bricks in these colours really to be able to do that. But yeah, tell me what you think if we want to make it a bit deeper. Anyway, let's go and look at this from the other side, and that might make it easier to decide if this is the right place for it. Well, I think it's in quite a nice position at the end of this street. It's a very prominent position in a way, so I'm glad it's got a little bit of height. We wouldn't want anything too high in this area because it might interrupt our view of the fairground even more, that we've got hidden from these tall buildings to the right. So I think a bit of low rise is probably a good idea. And the sloped roof sort of goes away from the monorail line as well, so that's kind of safe. But there was a suggestion that I should kind of incorporate that monorail line end into a building so it kind of vanishes through a building rather than just stopping dead in midair like that, which represents obviously where the guillotine comes down, sort of chopping real life into my standing hole. But yeah, I don't mind it there. It does look quite good, but I suppose it is that different style of architecture that makes it the problem. I mean, where we've got all these old buildings together, they kind of fit, being underneath the castle and so on. So that makes a lot of sense. But I don't know if it matters over there. You would have a more traditional shaped building for something like that. Of course, we've got a lot of real estate all over this side that we've got to fill up in due course, so it could go over there for a while. And indeed, originally, the arcade wasn't even supposed to be there. That's a temporary holding position for that, to be honest. So maybe a temporary position for this isn't such a bad thing either. But a wonderful build. I'm glad I was able to easily get rid of all of that snow. It does look a bit grey. So maybe I need to add a bit more green detailing or even make those sort of bits above the bay windows green itself, and that might brighten it up a bit. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. So as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways in which you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll be doing a brick haul on Wednesday, and then probably back to the fairground, which you can see the Dodgems moving in on Friday. So until then, see you!